Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going through a quick preview of round 4, some of the matchups that are on the cards, and a few captains I have in my sights for the round ahead. So let's get on with it, guys. Starting off on Thursday night, tomorrow night, one of the games of the round, Brisbane versus Collingwood at the Gabba. Should be an interesting one fantasy-wise. You've had the Dacos brothers going off so far. They're averaging incredible numbers for the season so far. But they're at the Gabba against Brisbane Premiership winners. Been a bit lofty so far to start the season, but yeah, very interesting matchup there. I'm expecting, again, Dacos brothers to have, yeah, but I'd say they're going to keep it going for the year ahead. I don't see why, yeah, they'd stop now, especially Josh Dacos actually at the Gabba. I think he's just been as consistent as you'd come even away from home on the kick-ins in defense. Nick might cop the tag, so I've heard. So we'll see where Berry goes to on the weekend. Jared Berry did pretty well last week. And yeah, could be tagging again this week. Could be the job on Nick Dacos, so that'll be interesting. But no McCluggage in that one. Could be Zorko having a big one, I'm thinking, in defense. But yeah, maybe Dunkley will be kicking on as well. Ashcroft brothers as well. And maybe Lockie Neal might be getting amongst it, but he's had a very slow start to the season. Not expecting huge numbers from Neal. But yeah, big game to start Thursday night. I'll be calling that one tomorrow, so come join me here on this channel. Gonna follow along with all the fantasy stats. And yeah, kick on to Good Friday as well, which has got 2 matches coming up. And I'll be calling these ones as well. You got North Melbourne versus Carlton in the early afternoon on Friday. Yeah, not sure who's going to come out on top in that one. Should be a close game, actually, because both teams have had a interesting start. North Melbourne obviously has been struggling for a while, and Carlton, after last week's absolute blowout in the second half, I think they're a little bit on the rocks as well. But fantasy wise, we're not going to see Tristan Cherry after he got suspended last week for rubbing blood on McGrath's face. Got 3 weeks for that. So the ruck matchup will actually be interesting. Boring, but interesting. Pitnet will probably get the wood over. Yeah, I guess it's going to be what, Taylor Goad if he gets up and gets on the park. He'll be in the ruck for North Melbourne. Otherwise, there, I'd say obviously Harry Sheasel is going to have a big one. I'd say he's just rocketing to start the year, 120 plus average. And yeah, against Carlton, I think he's going to have his way a little bit. Otherwise, for North, Kobe McKercher came into his own last week. That was great to see. And LDU also getting contested beast disposals in the middle. But he's up against the Blues in the midfield. And Cripps, Walsh, Kennedy. Who's the other one in there that's been pretty good to start the year? Hewitt as well. And obviously Jagger. Yeah, so it's like a few midfielders there for LDU to compete with. See if fellow midfielders Powell, maybe Sheasel, a few other North Melbourne boys might be getting in the middle, but I expect it to go probably North Melbourne's way, in all honesty, in that one. And even with Cherry out, I actually think North Melbourne has looked all right to start this season. Obviously, some mishaps along the way, but I think they're going to get it done against Carlton on Friday. Moving on to the evening game, though, and it's Adelaide Crows against the Fremantle Dockers. I think Adelaide's going to hopefully get Dawson back this week. Touch and go for Rory Laird. We'll find out this evening. He's had a bit of a niggle from last week, and yeah, still on the sidelines, still not training 100%. But yeah, hopefully it'll be a good game, though. The Crows versus Fremantle. I think that's 2, yeah, contenders for the year ahead. And yeah, I'm hoping to see Isaac Rankin get in the middle a bit more. I think he got tagged out of it last week. Had an abysmal game to come back. And yeah, hopefully he's going to be in the middle. Dawson back. Maybe Saligo getting a bit in the middle as well, a bit more. I think he's amping it up a bit. And yeah, hopefully we'll see Riley Thilthorpe, I'm thinking, get amongst it in the forward line. I've really been keen on Thilthorpe this year. Just fun to watch. Big guy, clunks marks, kicks it from 60 out. Always good to watch. But yeah, otherwise the Adelaide Crows defense has been pretty good this year as well. Josh Worrell has been all right. Wayne Miller came out of nowhere and he's been looking the goods, getting some kick-ins back there. So, yeah, a few Adelaide Crows defenders popping off as well. And I'm thinking, yeah, it could be a bit of a consistent game in the back half for the Crows. Seems like that's where the ball tends to be. And, yeah, those guys getting amongst it, which is good to see. And I think, yeah, should be a good game against Fremantle. Fremantle have got, yeah, a few decent midfielders, obviously. Caleb Sarong, Brayshaw. I'm keen on Erasmus still, but he just hasn't quite gotten going this year. Ruck-wise, it's actually very interesting in this matchup. You got Luke Jackson, Sean Darcy against Lachlan McAndrew, I think it's going to be. And people are saying maybe Riley O'Brien's coming in to, work a bit of management with McAndrew to work over the other two decent ruckmen. So, yeah, not sure how that one's going to play out. Luke Jackson has been pretty good so far, but if he's got two decent ruckman diverse, then yeah, we'll see how that one goes. But not sure how the ruck contest is going to go in Adelaide versus Fremantle. Let me know in the comments. Who do you think is going to win that ruck battle? On to Saturday games now, and there's just two games on Saturday. Richmond versus Port Adelaide to start us off in the mid-afternoon, and that is possibly, yeah, one of the most, yeah, I don't know, it's just strangest matches for the year, I think. Port Adelaide has lost to North Melbourne and West Coast so far, and now they've got Richmond at the MCG, and I actually think it's going to be close. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would be saying Port Adelaide will be blowing them out, but they've been iffy to start the year, and so's Richmond, I guess, but genuinely another, yeah, toilet bowl matchup for us. Could be interesting fantasy wise. I'm expecting or hoping Butters can get back to it this week, get a bit busier. But yeah, no Nankervis for a while for Richmond. So their captain's gone. I think it's going to be in the back half a lot again for Richmond, or at least coming out of the back half. Saw Luke Traynor last week have a decent one. Jaden Short, hopefully, will be getting busy. Taranto's been very good to start the year, so at least some contested midfielders getting busy for the Tigers. But yeah, just another interesting matchup, I think. One that the fantasy coaches will be a bit more keen on than the fans, I think, for the weekend ahead. Then on Saturday night, it's West Coast Eagles versus the Swans in Perth, I believe. And yeah, that's going to be. I'm expecting the Swans to get up, you'd think. West Coast has got a win or two now, which is interesting, but still think it's the Swans every day of the week, even without Goulden. But yeah, Swans after the bye, we'll see if they've still got some fire in them. Hopefully, we'll see if it's done them good or hindered them at all. But I'd expect the Swans to get up. See how Heaney goes. He's been a bit iffy to start the year. I'm expecting big things from Brodie Grundy for a change. He's also been a bit slow. So a couple of these Swans need to kick on, especially after the bye now. I'm just, yeah, especially with Goulden out, just don't know who's popping for the Swans this year just yet. Is it Heaney? Is it Grundy? Is it going to be Rowbottom or something? A few defenders on the cards for Sydney have been good, like Riley Bice, Nick Blakey. But yeah, otherwise, just been a bit tough going for the Swans so far. And yeah, their forwards have not been great. So Charlie Curnow, could he kick a bag against West Coast? Maybe. West Coast, I don't know if they've had anyone ton up this year so far. Maybe one or two, but fantasy wise, looking at some 80s on the cards, I think. Maybe some 90s if you're lucky against Sydney. But yeah, West Coast, not the best fantasy stocks. Yeah, was it Graham, Baker? Probably the best against the Swans last time. So I'm expecting someone like that again. But yeah, Harley Reid's been good. Willem Dersma, a couple of number one draft picks in there who have made a difference so far. So that's exciting for West Coast. And maybe it'll be a good game on Saturday night. We'll see. Sunday has Demons versus Gold Coast, which I actually think is going to be a good game. I think Gold Coast, most of us probably picking Gold Coast, but after the Demons' second half last week, you've got to give them some kind of inkling. I think they might do something special on the weekend. Jack Steele last week was amazing. Cozzy Pickett was amazing. Uh, Not sure how Gawn goes against the Suns, to be honest. Traditionally, he's against Jared Witts. and Witz is a pretty good ruckman in the middle. So with the new rules, might be interesting. But I don't know if Gorn will have a huge week this week. Gold Coast wise, they've had the bye, and Noah Anderson, I reckon, will probably be the best one on the weekend for the Suns. We'll see if Matty Rao comes back. But yeah, last time the Suns played the Demons, I think you had like Sam Flanders and Fiorini playing really well, and they're no longer here. So we'll have to see who steps up for the Suns. Also, no Petrarca, or maybe. I don't know if that was an April Fool's joke this morning, but I don't think Petrarca will be back this weekend. So yeah, who else is in the middle for the Suns? It's going to be interesting. Noah Anderson, I think, again, going to be the main man there for the Suns. And even if Matty Rao comes back, just don't see him exploding in his first couple of games coming back after that finger injury. But otherwise, I'd like to think John Noble might have a good one in defense as well. He had a big game last time, was one of the best for the Suns. And yeah, could be a good option to get some Suns defenders against the Demons this week. Uh, One of the biggest blowouts of the week, I think, is going to be Western Bulldogs versus Essendon. Essendon this year have just been absolutely scored on hard, and it's Marcus Bontempelli, it's like Tim English, it's going to Ed Richards, Matt Kennedy, Bailey Williams has been good, Adam Trelaw's coming back. I just think the Dogs are going to absolutely run over the Bombers. It's going to be a blowout. Bombers, though, I reckon, I mean, it hasn't been great, but Zach Merritt could be a shining light on the weekend. He's just going to have to lead from the front in what's going to be a tough day out, I think, for the Bombers. And yeah, if anyone's going to pull something out on the weekend for the Bombers, it's probably going to be Zach Merritt. Maybe some defenders, though. We'll see how accurate the Dogs are. Might see plenty of kick-ins for the Bombers, though. So maybe some Archie Roberts or yeah, someone else down back for the Bombers could be good. Andy McGrath, maybe. But no, the Bombers are going to get absolutely spanked by the Dogs, and it's not going to be close on the weekend. And finally, on Monday, Easter Monday, the big clash, Hawks versus the Cats. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be a good game. It's always a good game, but Geelong just seems to have the fantasy nous over the Hawks. Hawks just struggle to get a ton on the board most weeks, fantasy wise, but Geelong has a few good options there, and I think Bailey Smith is probably going to have another day out against the Hawks. He did well last year, 35 disposals in the prelim last year, I think. And yeah, just coming off that 150 last week, I think he's just in some kind of form. Max Holmes, obviously, another one. I think he's, yeah, just an absolute gun now, averaging very well to start the season. And yeah, just, I think, in all honesty, yeah, the Cats probably have the pip over the Hawks in the midfield. Hawthorn wise, though, I remember Dylan Moore having a good game last year against the Cats. And yeah, making it interesting, kicking a few, I think. Midfielder wise, it's usually a bit of struggle street. I've been rapping on Josh Ward all year, though. I think Josh Ward could be like number one, number two, banana. Yeah, it's tying with John Newcomb in the middle, I feel, right now. They're averaging very similarly. And yeah, I think Josh Ward, again, just one to keep an eye on. Could be an absolute steal this year. I think he's going to average really well. Uh, I don't know. We'll have to see. Last time, as I said, Hawks not doing too well against the Cats. Not the best fantasy scorers. Maybe some defensive junk on the cards for Sicily or something. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. But expect Geelong to rack it up fantasy wise. Maybe some good points for Lloyd Meek in the middle, though, hoping against the Geelong ruck. We'll see. And quickly, guys, I'll give you some captain options I'm keen for this week. Let's rattle a few off here. As I mentioned earlier, Marcus Bontempelli against the Bombers. Absolute no-brainer. Last time I think he went 140. And yeah, Essendon in all sorts. So absolute no-brainer for the week ahead. Marcus Bontempelli, ton incoming, and possibly 130 plus, I'm thinking. Harry Sheasel, can't go wrong. He's just been just dominating to start the year off halfback, getting in the middle a bit against Carlton as well. I think that's, yeah, potentially a match made in heaven. I think he is just going to get everywhere like normal. As mentioned before, Bailey Smith should be having a big day out against the Hawks, I'd imagine, at the MCG on Monday, coming off that 150, 130 plus last time they faced them. Hawks usually I don't know, their midfield again just hasn't been matching up against other midfields. And I think, yeah, someone like Bailey Smith could be having a big one. Tim English, put him in there because it's the Bombers, to be honest. I expect a few dogs to get up this week against the Bombers. Blackiston has nullified a couple of rucks, like Tristan Cherry last week, but I don't think he's going to nullify Tim English. I think Tim English is going to just pull out 4 quarters of decent footy and, yeah, get well above that 110 mark for the week ahead, for sure. Zach Butters, a little bit of an off week last week. Still had 30 disposals, but had 1 tackle and 1 mark. Expecting to have a bit of a bigger blowout this week, get back to some form, get a bit more aggressive in the contest, and hopefully get open for some marks against Richmond in a pretty good matchup. I got Nick Dacos on here because it's Nick Dacos. He's the #1 player for the year so far. And I've heard there's a tag coming, maybe, but still think he's the #1 guy. Still think he's going to be racking it up. And yeah, Thursday night at the Gabba. Yeah, I think he's going to go very, very well. Another one who could be, yeah, that sneaky option that I always forget about and don't want to think about. But Dane Zorko has been pretty good to start the year. And he has been for the last few years. He's old, but he's still got it. And he could be taking a few kick-ins, I'm thinking, on the weekend. Last time he versus Collingwood, he was well up above 120 by the end. And yeah, 30 plus disposals, lots of marks. Expecting the veteran to, yeah, hold down the back on the weekend or on Thursday night against Collingwood. Jack Steele, 15 tackles last week. Had a very low time on ground for how he scored last week. And just think he is the main man and seriously the #1 midfielder at the Demons. Think he's just going to be doing the same thing again this week and getting close to 10 tackles. Could be a tough matchup against Gold Coast, but yeah, it's Jack Steele, guys. I think he's going to go 100 plus once again. Zach Merritt, hoping he again is the shining light in the matchup against the Dogs. I think it's going to be a tough day out, but if anyone's going to do well, it's Zach Merritt. Last time he got 115 plus, I think, against the Dogs, and no one else really did anything for Essendon. So I'm kind of expecting that to happen again. Sam Walsh on my list here because Sam Walsh is actually once again becoming pretty relevant in fantasy. He's been playing very well to start the year. No niggles just yet, touch wood. And yeah, against North Melbourne, I think that's a good matchup with all the midfielders around him, with Jagger helping out, Cripps contesting. I think he has frees up Walsh a bit this year, and I think people have forgotten about him a bit. And yeah, wearing the headband, got the locks, the luscious locks now. So I reckon Sam Walsh is going to be in for a big one on the weekend, on Friday. And yeah, could be a good opportunity to put the VC on him, I think. And finally, maybe a dark horse for captains this week, but Brody Grundy against West Coast. I'm thinking that could be a big one for him. Last time he got 50 hitouts against West Coast. Didn't get too many disposals, was a bit handball happy. Didn't end up tunning up last time. But it's West Coast. And it's Brody Grundy, the pig. I think, again, might be a dark horse, but wind it back, Brody. I think it's time to get back to business. And I don't see why Brody Grundy couldn't get close to 50 hitouts again against West Coast. He is the modern day ruckman, in my opinion. Just a big midfielder, runs around, clunks marks, chains plays together, gets plenty of hitouts against West Coast. Good matchup for the week ahead, but could be a smoky, I reckon. And why not chuck the C on him against West Coast? Why not? But anyway, guys, there you have it. A few options for the week ahead, a few matchups that we've dissected today. And yeah, please join me for some watch alongs of some of these matches over the weekend. Going to be watching all of them, so come and join me on this channel in the chat. The only one I won't be watching will be Hawks versus Geelong because I'll be going to the game. So probably be on socials for that one. But otherwise, join me for all these other games over the weekend, guys. starting tomorrow night, Collingwood and Brisbane at the Gabba. Should be a good game. And yeah, be calling it from a fantasy perspective. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on socials. Check out some Game Day Squad if you haven't already. Use the code word MONSTAR to get some free packs and check out a new way to play fantasy. So thanks again, guys. I'll see you on Thursday night, and I'll see you next week for another video.